The following information is on specific payments received so far and is extremely useful to all owners of new Leopards, and so I suggest it's worth listening to. This information is also of value to anyone considering purchasing an equivalent catamaran or yacht variant that has a sales contract heavily weighted in favour of the seller and or the builder.
So this is more important stuff that needs to be discussed. Now this is important to new owners of Leopards that are under warranty still. It may set precedents for your situation, and so it should, and they might not like that, but it makes the world a better place, because God knows Travelopia doesn't need to pay a few dollars more to the KKR shareholders. They can just fix the damn boats. Right.
Sound like a non-shareholder.
Yes. You can see I don't have shares in KKR. Which was who owned it last I checked. Now, Leopard and Robertson and Kane decided they don't want to remove my warranty. My hull warranty. Even though in an email they said that they did, if we came to an agreement, they said that was a mistake and they wanted to withdraw it. We've not come to a final agreement. They made me an offer and I said it was a joke, and we'll chat later when more of the boat's fixed. So the warranty, my opinion is, which I've put to them, which we've not settled and agreed on, is all my systems, all my stuff has undergone some amount of time over a year of wear and tear while warranty's being conducted on the boat, or the boat's been failed and unusable. So I want my warranty extended the amount of time on all parts, not just the hull or the windows, on all parts, like the plumbing, the electrical, the Reimarine. Now, to be transparent, anything that fails during this period of hard stand time in Trinidad, they've replaced everything. They've replaced. So if it breaks, they've replaced it so I submit evidence. I've got a more streamlined process, but I submit evidence of the failure, or Sam from JS Marine does, and they post the part in, or they authorize the repair. There's no drama. That process has actually not really delayed much. Some stuff's been extremely slow, and it's inexcusably slow in my opinion, like gel coat, but other stuff's been very quick, and I think they've actioned it very quickly. I think there's been such a large company, things go wrong, lost in translation between departments. So my opinion is, all my stuff, like hatches, plumbing, Reimarine, hugely expensive Victron system, all of that should have its warranty extended a period of time that I haven't been able to use it because the boat's not been constructed sufficiently. So that's my opinion. We've not settled on a decision in that regard. They've not said yes or no.
They decided to cover work hours for self-rectification of warranty issues based on timesheets and an average hourly rate in the area that the boat broke down. Some owners have had their hours covered at a reasonable rate to fix their own boat and forego warranty on their own work, and we can confirm this. We believe that this is ultimately a cost saving and it should be supported. Remember though, you are reasonably expected to warranty your own repair at that point. I believe that this arrangement is beneficial to both cruisers and the respective companies, as self-repair will always be less expensive than top retail labour if you have the competencies and are willing to forego future warranty on that part if your workmanship fails. Trent is back from chasing mosquitoes.
It bit me.
It bit you?
This is going to go into the part now that's interesting for future people considering buying a Leopard and current owners that have active warranties on their Leopard hulls. This information can be used however you like. I don't care. I'll let your creativity be the limit. Now, we have had warranty hours for self-rectification covered. They've paid us for warranty hours in Cape Town where we've had to self-rectify because they didn't have the labour or expertise in Cape Town to fix particular issues. They've also covered warranty repair by contractors in Cape Town that they paid for at the time. They've covered Tynan to do warranty repairs with the guys here in Trinidad due to labour shortages or unforeseen issues, and rectify warranty issues because he has the skills to do so. He also has the tools to do so. So it saves them buying tools or shipping in a professional to work with shaping marine ply, for instance, or something like that. Now, we agreed to that. I'm not particularly happy about it, but it helped the situation, I think, a lot more than it hindered it. And it's good of them to pay out his hours for warranty rectification of particular things. Like, the reality is if there's a 2-person job, for instance, and someone gets sick for a week, like there's 2 people redoing deck fittings that are insufficiently sealed and insufficiently installed and bedded, and the holes are insufficient, maybe they've got to be drilled out. Someone may have to hold a vacuum, someone may have to hold a spanner or a socket on the other side of a fitting. 2 people are allocated to the warranty repair. 1 person can't be here. Tynan subs in, gets paid his hours to help rectify, just as an example. Now, they have paid us. We have had to provide evidence. We've had to provide evidence for the fault, why it happened, an independent tradesman to look at it. We're not just getting handed free money. In some cases, an independent tradesman, in some cases they haven't required that. We've provided reasonable evidence to be paid for the rectification. Now, the rectification has occurred somewhere where we couldn't get anyone to rectify it. There's been numerous times, especially with the Victron system, that people need to understand nobody fucking wants to work on these systems. They're so complicated and there's so much involved in them. Nobody wants to work on your system, which leaves you with a big problem. You want to have immaculate labelling, immaculate wiring diagrams, and you want to know exactly what you've got installed on your boat, because when you're 2 weeks away from where you bought it, it's on you to get it fixed, and it's on you to explain to a tradesman what's faulty and what's wrong with it, and then try and convince them to fix somebody else's work. And it's extremely difficult to find people to fix complex systems. You need to take that to heart. It's okay if you just bounce around marinas on the US side and the Bahamas, where there's expertise and products available. It's not easy when you start coming to places like Trinidad. When you start cruising around Europe, especially, people don't want to know. So, Travelopia have paid us some expenses that are directly related to warranty and us being restricted in our use of the boat. These totals so far, and this is not an exhaustive list of costs because we've not submitted everything yet. This is just a list of costs for you to consider that we've incurred. Some of them are extremely low versus what they would be if we weren't budget conscious. So the total comes to $59,410 roughly USD. Right. I'm not going to detail what every cost on here is, but I will read out what they've covered in that 59k US, which is not exhaustive of what I will ultimately claim in the end, and it's not exhaustive of what they think they should be paying in the entirety. and that money doesn't cover any of the repairs that they're paying for here. So to be clear, the hard stand fees, everything incurred here, including a rental car, they are paying for, Travelopia. The costs here, they've told me, are being split 50% with Robertson and Kane, but that's them verbally instructing me of that. The fridge, replacement fridge, miscellaneous supplies, the ones that we've claimed so far, which is over 2k. And we've bought a lot more since then due to them having issues with their importer. We have had to import and source things through our network, which is faster than theirs. Now, there has been some significant electrical work rectification paid for to do with the aftermarket electrical, which they've covered in that amount because it was not installed properly, correctly. They've paid for Airbnbs in South Africa. They've paid for our marina fees in Gibraltar. Now keep in mind, we've only charged them for marina stays where the boat was incapacitated in some degree from a fault to do with warranty, like the Reimarine failing, the system failing and wind sensors, and stuff to do with the engine electrics and charging failing and alternators failing. Where we've had to stay in the marina, they've covered it. They've covered our car hire in Italy, which you must have a car in that marina. Now people have asked, why did we go to that marina in Italy? We went to that marina in Italy simply because it was already being used and authorised as a Leopard warranty repair marina, and it was close to where our stuff was able to be delivered to the shore from shipping it out of Australia. But it was predominantly due to another Leopard being worked on there, undergoing similar warranty repairs, and us being assured they knew what they were doing. And that it was something was tossed around about making sure that you go to a completely impartial shipyard and impartial surveyor that's not going to be construed or be able to be paid off, which is more expensive and more bullshit, but that's what I was instructed, to go somewhere that was totally impartial and straight down the line. So all of our costs here were covered that we incurred before they took over. The inspections of the hull here have been covered, and Tynan's warranty work rectification hours here have been covered as well. And that is because there's just simply a lot of work to do here, and it's not the easiest environment to get people to come and work in, especially since there's limited accommodation on site, and there's limited accommodation that's any sort of reasonable amount in the area. Now that was a verbal agreement with us to cover that work, but they have covered our warranty repair hours that we could prove reasonably outside of here. Travelopia has given us some gifts. We have not had to sign anything for these. We don't have to give them anything for this. They've also been very flexible. So a couple more 48 volt batteries, some extra cable with the lightning cable that has to be replaced because of warranty anyway.
Autopilot.
An autopilot, an entire, which is not installed yet, an entire autopilot system and RAM to set up a secondary autopilot to assist with our remote area cruising. They've sent out stuff for servicing the engines to help us with the engines. Some nice gifts worth thousands of dollars. They've allowed flexibility. They've warranty replaced our fridge with an isotherm. It's the second vitrifrigo that they've replaced under warranty. The first one was replaced under warranty because Robertson and Kane workers left soft drink bottles in it, which exploded and blew up all inside the fridge. And instead of cleaning the Coke out, they just replaced the entire fridge.
Yeah.
Go rationalise that. The second one, the second fridge, which was new out of a box, before anyone assumes otherwise. I watched it come out of the box. The door wouldn't shut, the top drawer. So there was a 10mm variance, and you couldn't. And it
The door would move.
It got worse and worse and worse over time. So the door wouldn't latch, and the way it was constructed, you couldn't repair it. It was manufactured in its entirety like crap. Then the condenser got less and less and less effective. No, it wasn't the airflow. No, it wasn't shit in the condenser and the radiator. None of that. It just went to shit over time, to the point where it wouldn't keep things frozen on full in aircon. They've given us some nice things. None of it's been installed yet.
No.
I believe Travelopia did not predict, as we didn't, how incredibly poorly this boat would be put together and how much stuff would need to be fundamentally redone. So a lot of parts of this boat have had to have been structurally reinforced. So to do that, you don't do a little patch repair like this. They have to grind back all of the adjoining sections to a degree, get rid of all of the joining laminate that's not done properly, which basically takes it back to a stage it would be in the factory, and then hand laminate it all, or vacuum bag it. So it's far superior to what was done in the factory, but it's very time consuming, and I don't believe anyone thought it'd be this stuffed. I sure didn't, and I don't believe they did either. I don't believe they realised quite how much they were biting off.
No.
When they agreed to stay here and fix the boat from front to back. Nobody did. Anything you guys want to say?
If they knew how fucked this boat was, they would have just thrown a lot of money at you and told you to go away.
Yeah, a lot more money they would have offered.
There you go. No, I just think this is a complex situation. We're doing our best to share it with you in a constructive way. We are going to continue being honest about what's going on and what's happening with us, but you just have to bear with us because there's a lot of moving pieces that you just need to be aware of when you're in a situation like this. And ultimately our end goal and our main priority is not sharing this online. Our main priority is getting this boat back in the water as soon as possible.
And you know what? I may sign an NDA in future and get a payout. I may not. I certainly won't sign one for the amount they've offered me so far.
I think people have to understand, like,
You're
you're doing your best, but you're not a martyr, and you can't
No,
be
so-
expected to put your life on hold.
I believe we've done a lot for this subject matter, and these guys have lost a huge amount of money for them with this being dragged out.
Thank you for watching our update, especially if you watched all 3 parts. If you haven't, I would encourage you to go back and take a look. It's funny, we watch other people around our age, some of whom they've bought these arguably unsafe, unseaworthy boats, and some have then sunk these boats on realistically what is a self-inflicted holiday. Like, it's not compulsory to live on a boat. And that's involved emergency services. It's put their lives at risk, the lives of others at risk, puts more pollution into the ocean that it really doesn't need. Then they crowdfund hundreds of thousands of dollars and get rewarded for their poor decisions with a new boat. We've worked long hours from young ages, we've sacrificed, we've made careful financial decisions, because to us, health and youth are 2 of the most valuable commodities that you have in life. And instead, we now face a system that has chewed up 2 years of our lives and made a mess of the dream that we set out to achieve, and possibly caused lasting psychological and health damage, all through no fault of our own. Like I said, one of these other videos, we've always done the best that we could with the information that we had at the time. Hopefully, after so much suffering and hard work over the last 2.5 years now, things turn around soon, because as it is, the situation, it's just depressing and we're tired. So the latest thing that they've decided to needlessly discuss and debate is the electrical system. So watch this space to see if we'll even be able to launch by the end of January in 2024. Really hope we can though, because I just want to get out on the water.